Okay, we're going to go over the review here, question by question. First one, which one's exponential, quadratic, and linear? Exponential is our growing thing here, an exponential curve, a growth curve, So this one, I can't draw, goes here. This, I hope we can recognize that's linear because it's a straight line. And a quadratic is a parabola right there. Okay. We got to do this. We're going to look at these numbers and their differences. Pretty easy to see we're adding 3 every time. So 8 minus 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. 11 minus 8 is 3. 14 minus 11 is also 3. So this is linear because the first differences. Easiest to see is just if you're adding the same number every time, it's linear, and that's always the first difference being constant. If you're multiplying by the same number every time, that's exponential, and that's going to be the ratio of the y values is constant. The second difference one is the quadratic. That would basically be if these weren't all the same, but then you subtracted them again and then got all the same, that's the quadratic one. But quadratic is just the other one. If it's not linear or exponential, it's probably going to be quadratic, and then that goes with the second differences. Okay, exponential growth. Well, population at 4.6, that's exponential, but that's shrinking, so that's out. This is a flat rate of 1.97. It's not going up by a percentage. It's not being multiplied, so that's out. That decreases. Don't want that every day. I'm glad that's still linear. Grows at a rate of 7.9% a year. There you go. D. Evaluate. So we're doing -2, -7, -4, plus 20. We do the part inside there first. That's -11. So the absolute value of -11 is 11. So that's -22 plus 20. So our answer is -2. Okay. So to solve for this, we take what's inside. It's by itself. We don't have any numbers in front. We don't have anything added on the back. Once you get the absolute value by itself, you can lose the absolute value bars, but you have to set it equal to the positive part on the other side, and you have to solve it for the negative on the other side. So subtract 4, divide by 8. So x is 1. 1 second, I'm sorry. Then over here, subtract 4 again. We get 8x is now equal to -16. Divide by 8, and x is -2. So -2, 1, our answers. Okay, which of these is a function? Well, no one x can go to another y. Well, I only see a -6 in my x's. I only see a 1, but -4 goes to 3 and -4 goes to 8, so it can't be that one. -8 goes to -3 and -8 goes there, can't be that one. 4 goes to 1. There's no other 4. 4 only goes to 1. -6 only goes to 6. 5 only goes to -2. And -4 only goes to -1. That's going to be our answer. Down here, we have -8 again. So obviously that's not. Okay. We'll get their wording right here. This is a function. It passes the vertical line test. Doesn't curl back on itself. So it does represent a function because every input is mapped to a single output. There's no x that goes to two different y's. All right? So this graph has been moved to the left, so we've added 4. And we flipped it. So that's going to be this one. Remember, when we're in here, this is moved to the left as well, x plus 4. The one on the inside moves us the opposite direction of what we think. All of them have been moved down by 1. And that's where the -1 is coming in on each of these. The -1 on the outside moves us down on the y-axis. But the +4 on the inside actually moves us the opposite direction of what we think. So this is x plus 4. So that's going to be that one. And the other one has moved to the right by 4. So this is going to be x minus 4 squared. And that doesn't matter if it's quadratic like this. If it's a square root, that's moved to the left 4. That's moved to the left 4. I mean, I don't want to get into whatever's in that function, they all act the same way. So it doesn't matter if it's this, if it's square root, if it's a exponential, if it's a quadratic like these, if it's an absolute value, whatever. Everything acts the same. Okay, so we just set these both up like in order. So I'm going to rearrange negative 8x minus 10y equals 24. And this one I'm going to put 6x plus 5y equals 2. You could try substitution. I don't see a lot of division here, but I look at this and see I could probably do elimination. So I'm going to multiply everything down here by 2 so I can get a negative 10 and a positive 10. And we're looking for x, so that's nice. I only have to do it once, and that would leave me with only x. I'll get rid of the y's. So it'll be negative 8x minus 10y equals 24, and multiply the whole bottom by 2. 12x plus 10y equals 4. So we've got it set up the way we want. Now we just add them together. So I'm going to get, 4x, those cancel out, equals 28. So divide both sides by 4, x is 7. All right? These, figure out which one of these it's in. Is negative 1 less than negative 3? No. Is negative 1 equal to negative 3? No. Is negative 1 between negative 3 and 2? Yes. So I'm doing this one. All I'm doing is 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So whatever thing it fits in, plug it into that one. If we were doing like x, what if we were doing f of negative 5? Well, that would go in here, and we'd plug negative 5 in here and just compute the answer. All right? So I got to get this video done. Okay. Determine the order. The order is, I don't know why it's doing that, the number of rows by the number of columns. Simple as that. The value of element B13, row, column. So we go to row 1, column 3. Again, simple as that. Okay, so here what we're going to do is essentially what you're doing, B negative 2 minus 3 times 2. And that's going to be what? Negative 8. You're doing that for each element. So this is -8. Then you do 6 is B, minus 3 times 0. So that is 6. Then you're going to do 4 minus 3 times -1. So that's 4 plus 3, 7. And then do 3 minus 3 times -3. That should be 3 plus 9 is 12. And there you go. Find the product. This one gets a little trickier. What you're doing is this times this plus this times this. So 1 times -4 plus 0 times -3, which is just going to be -4. Then you're doing the same thing, but this one, multiply those, 2 times -4 plus -1 times -3. And there, so we have -8 plus 3, so -5. All right? Determinant, it's this times this minus this times this. A, B, C, D. It's AD minus BC. So 3 times 2 minus 8 times 5. So that's 6 minus 40. So it should be -36. Or did I do my math wrong? Oh, that's -2. I'm sorry. So this should be -6. So it's -46. That's the determinant. All right, this we're just combining like terms. 3x squared plus 5x plus 5x squared plus 4x plus 9. So that would be 8x squared plus 9x plus 9. And they just want the x term. They want the coefficient of the x term. That's all you need. Same thing here. Now we don't even need the parentheses anymore altogether. And really, this one's even easier. There's nothing to combine from over here that's just x. It's just this one. There you go. Okay, trinomial. We need to do good old-fashioned foiling. (12x squared plus 6x minus 4x minus 2. So 12x squared plus 2x minus 2 should be our answer. Okay. Dividing by -3, we can do synthetic division. So we put the 0. What makes that 0 would be 3. Put that in a box. Put our coefficients. 1, -11. Now we are missing an x term. So we need a 0 in its place. We have a cubed or third power, second power. We need a first power. So we're going to use the 0 for that. And we're going to do this. Drop the first one down. If it's below the line, multiply it by the box. Add them. So this is -8. 3 times -8 is -24. Plus 0 is -24. 3 times 24 is... Give me a second. I'm sorry. 1 second. Y'all probably picked up on where I messed up here. I had to check my work. Forget all that, because I put that 1 there. It's 3 2, negative 11, 0, and 6. Bring the 2 down. That's 6, so that's negative 5. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. Plus 0 is negative 15. 3 times negative 15 is negative 45. So our last number is 30, oh, not 93, 39. That's our remainder. So they just want the remainder, 39. All right. Greatest common factor, well, they're both divisible by 6. And the highest power I can take out is x squared. That's it. All the factors of x squared minus 9x minus 36. What multiplies to negative 36 and adds to negative 9? So 4 and 9 are not going to get me to 9. So it's got to be 12 and 3. So one of them's got to be negative and one of them's got to be positive. So I've got 3 and 12. Well, I want them to add to negative 9, so I want the 12 to be bigger. So x plus 3 and x minus 12. So it should be our two guys down here. There we go. Factor completely. This is difference of squares. A squared minus b squared equals a plus b times a minus b. So we've got 5x squared minus 9 squared. So we should have 5x plus 9 and 5x minus 9, which will be b. We got to factor by grouping. This one's kind of trickier. It's got a little more to it. The first thing I'm going to do is factor out 2x. And I'll have x cubed plus 4x plus 2x squared minus 5x minus 10. Okay. This 2x is just going to go along for the ride. I'm going to use a bigger bracket here. So I'm taking the first two and I'm factoring out x squared. Taking the second two, I'm going to factor out negative 5. Which the whole point is you want this and this to be the same, so the 2x goes along for the ride. Then I'm going to have the x plus 2, this one, because they're the same on both. And then my other one is this and this. So I've got x squared minus 5, x plus 2, and a 2x are all my factors. Okay, there was question 23. Which of the following has a factor of x plus 1? This is synthetic division. Problem is you have to do it with all of them. So we start with what makes this 0, set that equal to 0. So our x we're using is negative 1. That goes in the box. Here we've got everything. We've got a power of 3, power of 2, power of 1, and then no x. So we're coefficients 1, 8, 5, negative 14. The point of this is we need a remainder to be 0. If the remainder is not going to be 0, it's not a factor. Bring the 1 down, multiply it by negative 1, add those. Negative 1 times 7 is negative 7, and 5 minus 7 is negative 2. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2, so we are going to have a remainder, so that one's out. So same thing, negative 1, we have 1, 8, 5, and negative 13. Nice thing is here, well, this is all going to stay the same. The first numbers are the same, so we're going to get down to negative 2 here. That's not going to get us to 13. The next one, now it changes up a little bit. We've got 1, 10, 23, and 13. So this will be 1, -1, 9, -9, and what is that? 14. So we can see what's going to happen here. That's always got a remainder. Just to kind of show the thing how you can do some shortcuts sometimes. 10, 23, and now 14. Well, look. These numbers are all the same. So I'm going to end up 14 here, -14. So there's my answer, because there would be no remainder. So you're just looking for the one that has no remainder, but the other ones were all out. So there you go. All right, square root 108. So let's think about what divides into 108. Divided by 2. What's 108 divided by 2? Would be 54 and 2. That's not a perfect square. I want to do that. So let's try dividing it by 3. What do we have? 36. And there we go. This is where people have been having a little bit of a problem. What's the square root of 36? 6. And you don't know why people are leaving it in the square root. Once square root's done its job, the square root sign goes away. So 6 square root of 3. Okay, now you're doing the same thing, just with a negative. Just start by putting I on the outside. That gets rid of the negative. Now we deal with 96. Try the thing. Start by dividing it by 2. So we'd have, 48. Not a perfect square. Don't worry about that one. We could try 3. Why did I write like that? I apologize. Square root of 3, and then 3 goes into 96, 32 times? That doesn't help us either. It is divisible by 3 and 2, so it should be divisible by 6. I don't want to use 4 because 4 is a perfect square itself, and that messes things up. So 5, no, obviously not 5. So let's try 6. We know it would be divisible by 6. So, and 6 I can't break down anymore. 1 and 16? Oh yeah, there we go. So we've got a perfect square here. So 4 and square root of 6, but we just need to bring the I along with it. So 4I square root of 6. So yeah, just keep trying those till you get a perfect square and something you can't break down. All right. So here we need to do everything, so let's take piece by piece. Negative square root of 25 is just negative, and the square root of 25 is 5. So now let's take negative square root of negative 64. That's going to be 8i. The square root of 64 is 8, and we get rid of the negative with the I. Square root of 121, spoiler alert, is 11. And this negative square root of negative 49 is going to be 7i. So what we have is negative 5 plus 8i plus 11 minus 7i. Or plus 7i, I'm sorry. Combined like terms, negative 5 and 11 is 6. 8 and 7. And there we go. Simple as that. Okay, now we're going to make it a little bit more complicated. So same thing. We'll take the first one, negative square root of 4 is negative 2. Now they don't break down as easy. Square root of 72. Negative 72 is going to be I square root of 72. Let's deal with that. That's going to be I divide this by 2. Well, it's going to be 36, right? Yeah. So this is 6i square root of 2. Then we have the square root of 64. That's just 8. And then we deal with the square root of negative 98. That's going to be I square root of 98. Probably going to be 2 as well, because we're going to want it to match up with that. And 98 divided by 2 is, what, 49? And there you go. We get our perfect square. 7i square root of 2. So what we have is negative 2 plus 6i square root of 2 plus 8, and then minus 7i square root of 2. So negative 2 plus 8 is 6, and 6i minus 6i squared is 2 minus 7i squared is 2 is 1i, negative 1i square root of 2. All right? Okay, we're going to factor this, solve by factoring. First thing we need to do is get it all equal to 0. Subtract the x squared. Get x squared minus 4x minus 16 equals 2x. Subtract 2x. X squared minus 6x minus 16 equals 0. So now we're looking to what multiplies negative 16 and adds to negative 6. And that's going to be 8 and 2. And one of them's got to be positive, one of them's going to be negative, but I want them to add to negative 6. So I want negative 8 plus 2. So now, this was the factoring, now we need to solve. This is where people get wrong. People are going to say, oh, my answers are negative 8 and 2. We need to take each thing. I have something times something equals 0. That either means the first thing is 0 or the second thing is 0. We just solve. X over here is 8, and x over here is negative 2. So we've got negative 2 and 8. All right. Good old-fashioned quadratic formula. So A is 4, B is negative 4, C is negative 11, and we're using negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Okay, so negative 4 is positive 4. B squared is going to be 16 minus 4 times 4 times negative 11. And all over 8, 2 times 4. So 4 plus or minus 16 plus 4 times 4 times 11, because the negative there. We get 192. You can throw that whole part into your calculator, which is not a perfect square, over 8. So let's take the square root of 192. We need to simplify and see what that equals. Divided by 2. Let's see if that works. Looks like our choices are either 2 or 3 from our answer choices. And that would be to what? 96? Yeah, so that didn't work. So it's got to be one of the 3s. 3 goes into 19. I'm doing this in my head. 60. Hey, 64. Look at that. 8 square root of 3. So 4 plus or minus 8 square root of 3 over 8. Let's reduce everything by a factor of 4. So it's 1 plus or minus 8 divided by 4 is 2 square root of 3. And 8 divided by 4 again is 2. So 1 plus or minus 2 square root of 3. Where'd we go? Is that this one right here? Looks like A. Make sure I did that right. Check my answer here. Yep, okay. Now we're talking about completing the square. Maybe. Remember, completing the square starts when you take b, half of b, square it and add it to both sides. So they're wondering what this is. This is basically saying what is, in this case, it's going to be 1/2 of b squared. So 1/2 of -34 is -17, and so we're going to square that. And I don't know what 17 squared is off the top of my head. Is it 289? Yes, 289. So if c were 289, that's the step there of completing the square. All right. Find all the solutions here. This one, a lot of people struggled with on the test. We're just taking -3x to the 4th minus 9x to the 3rd equals 0. We're going to factor out everything we can. I can factor out -3x cubed. And I would just have x and then -3 left. So either -3x cubed equals 0 or x minus 3 equals 0. Well, this is going to tell me x is 0. And this is going to tell me x is 3. So there's my answers. 0, 3. All right, so we're going to use the discriminant. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. All the stuff under the radical in there. So a is 5, b is -3, c is -2. So we do that. We do -3 squared minus 4 times 5 times -2. 9, it's going to be plus, what? 4 times 5 is 20, times 2 is 40. So we get 49. That's positive, so the roots are real. Will be unequal and rational. Real because it's not negative, unequal because it's not 0, and rational because it was a perfect square. Okay? The discriminant, again, is just b squared minus 4ac. So a is 2, b is -1, c is 15. So this is just asking for a numeric answer. We do -1 squared minus 4 times 2 times 15. And should get, what, 1 minus whatever 8 times 15 is. 1 minus 120, so -119. -119. Last one, we're just seeing what this is factoring. We don't have to use any answers or find any solutions. So what multiplies to 2 and adds to 3? Nice and easy. 2 and 1. And that is the entirety, sorry, didn't mean to do that, entirety of the review. Should be ready for the test now. Good luck.